Hello, everybody. Hello, everyone. How are you today? Ooh, ooh, hey, hey.
Is this Mahari's?
Yes, you got one more. Yeah, you know better. BED.
I just thought that was mine.
It's not. Now go to bed.
I have mine. I don't
Thank you. Good night. You go find you some in your drawer. You know where it is. Good evening. Okay, Lance, thank you so much for joining. Right now, I am a little bit waiting for Queen Everlena. Um, she's actually, I don't know if you've ever seen any of her videos. She's gone viral a couple times, and she's really animated, really passionate, really exciting. And so she's definitely coming on here pretty soon to talk about her federation, her programs, and things that she does to serve her community. Um, I always like making real life connections, and anytime we can try to raise funds to better our community, that's what I'm all about. So, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Holla if you hear me. Um, we're definitely looking forward to this evening because, you know, right now there's so much going on and like within the system, and with COVID-19 being such a hindrance on a lot of things, it's going to be that much more difficult to get things done, especially within the government. Um, with social distancing and everything that comes with shutting down businesses and trying to avoid um, worsening a pandemic. And so we are definitely all capable of getting through this together. And um, thank you so much for joining. Um, right now, I'm just typing in some topics for the night, trying to get a little bit more organized and, um, you know, all that great stuff. So her name is Queen Everlena. Loud and clear. Okay, I'm glad I'm coming in loud and clear. Awesome. And she's here. So here we go. I'm gonna add you to the stream.
Hi.
Welcome, Queen
Welcome.
Everlena.
Hi.
Look at you. I love your lip color.
Yes. I'm trying to
Yes.
do me. I threw on some lipstick for you.
I know
I
I
most
always
certainly
do my
did.
makeup, but you look good. You look good with or without makeup. Trust.
Thank you.
Um,
I appreciate that.
yeah, of course. Um,
So when
it's
people ask me why my ego's so big, I'm gonna say it was Abstruce.
hey, Honey, I'm here to uplift everybody. Okay,
Right. Okay.
that's my role, uplifting humanity, uplifting Black
Mm-hmm.
women for sure. Um,
Exactly.
and so look what I did right here. Look,
Oh, I love it.
yes.
Okay.
Um, and so these are her topics, but I definitely agree that these need to be addressed. Black leadership, individualism versus collectivism. What are your thoughts on how we operate as a community, especially because I feel most of us are individualists.
Right. I think that we are. To me, that's the big issue. I
Right,
feel like it's good and it's also bad. And just like
right,
if you want anything to work, you need to have a balance. I feel we do more things individually, excuse me, more things individually than we do collectively. Let me give you an example. You have Black Lives Matter. You have the NAACP. You have the Nation of Islam, and then you have the UNIA. When are these four organizations in the same room creating one collective agenda for Black people? They all have very different audiences, and sometimes those audiences, in fact, do cross over. But imagine how much stronger we could be as a people if those four groups were to get into the same room and create a collective agenda for our people.
right. Exactly. And definitely there's more power in numbers. And so right here we have Queen Tavon saying, "Hey Queen."
Right.
uh she's talking to you. I know she's talking to you. Because your name
Hi.
is literally Queen Everlena.
Right.
Um and so yes, definitely think that collectivism would work.
Hmm.
But we also need to do things on the local level as well.
Right.
And so finding that balance of having a united goal and then
Hmm.
implementing it in their specific communities the way that it can be implemented would
Right.
just be powerful.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So
Yeah.
what I'm trying to do with the concept of the federation is to, yeah, it's to set up she said both.
Right.
It's to set up opportunities as what I want us to do is to come together as a collective and set up opportunities that would apply even below the local level. Because when I think local, I think local government,
Right.
like the mayor, like not the mayor, your city, your county, and then your state. But before we even get to the city, county, and state, what about your household? So if
Right.
I can get these people to come together collectively and we can create a code for the Black household, I
Right.
think that would have a really, really, really good impact. And that is one of the main things that I'm trying to do with this federation is to show people the difference between individual solutions and collective solutions.
Right. Exactly. And so that perfect balance and harmony of both of those approaches would definitely help us a lot. Um, I think a good example of that is, I mean, I don't want to just pinpoint them, but the NAACP, has a national agenda, but locally they, you know, if something goes down, they're there with their legal beagles,
Right.
legal eagles, and able to, get things accomplished. And so, um, if we had something that was a little bit more radical than the NAACP, um, and a little bit more exclusive than the NAACP, following that type of model would actually, I think, would be powerful.
Right. Because when I think of the NAACP, I think of them as being like all of the organizations that I mentioned before are all what we would call either we'll say socio-political. They're
Right.
socio-political organizations.
Right.
They do not, however, answer the economic component.
Yeah.
And what we need is a socio-economic
Right.
political agenda.
Right.
We need an
Right.
organization who will answer all of these things. And for people who don't know what a federation is, basically a federation is an organization of industries. So just like the United States, you have Congress, right? And then you
Right.
got the Senate and then you have the House of Representatives. The House of Representatives really represent the people, whereas the Senate really represents, the state. But then
Right.
you also have the judicial branch and you have the executive branch, and all together that creates the federation that we know as the United States. Well, Black people need the exact same thing. So with
Right.
our Senate, we would have a cis male, cis female, LGBT, and then a biracial Senate, because I have broken down the Black community into four major sects that I feel, because four different major experiences, I would say. And then you have the delegates, which each county, there'll be four senators per state, and then one delegate per county. So I have actually identified 200 counties where the Black people hold the major population there. So we will start with that before I choose to, venture out into other counties where there are more less population of Black people. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? So by working with that, the delegates would focus more on the people and what's needed in the communities, such as they would deal with the scholarships, they would deal with grant making to small businesses in that area, but most importantly, setting up a base where the community can come together and continue being organized and let us know what it is that we need as a community. Whereas the senators focus more on the industry. So instead of organizing the people, they basically organize business. So they
Right.
would organize like a department of music, a department of transportation, a department of defense, a department of film, arts, and entertainment, a department of commerce. So they would get with the business leaders and the industry leaders to create a code and standards of operation for Black people, so
Right.
that these Black owned businesses could actually also compete with other communities. And I feel
Right.
like that's what the problem. So one side of it, the Senate deals with the business, and then the other side of the federation would be the delegation, which deals more specifically with the people and what is unique to that particular region and area.
And so, um, I don't think there are. Lance just said that mainstream organizations aren't interested in working with grassroots organizations, and that's absolutely true. Oftentimes, they when they do work with grassroots organizations, it's fishing for information, you know, so that they
Mm-hmm.
can have kind of a foothold in the community and not necessarily address needs. So I actually agree with that, Lance. Even when they do reach out to grassroots organizations, they're just using any type of information to do their own agenda and not really help with solutions to that community's issues. Um,
Right. Well, my
so,
federation will be under QEB Foundation, and we're about to change that with this car giveaway. That's the whole purpose of this car giveaway. So we're going to act like a grassroots organization, but we're going to think like a mainstream organization until we get to that level. Because in the beginning, one might have said Black Lives Matter was a grassroots organization. But now when
mhm.
you look at BLM today, you would have to say BLM is a mainstream organization. So you have to start small and then finish big.
Exactly. Yeah, with BLM, it definitely felt like more of a grassroots. Now it definitely feels like it's blown up. So, um, and with even with BLM, I don't feel like they do enough research into those communities and reaching out to the grassroots, the people who
Right,
organize in those communities. They
right,
kind of just let's storm over there
right.
and
Like ambulance chasers. Yeah.
right,
Not to be talking about y'all BLM, because we know some of y'all diehard BLM fans, but
right,
we
right.
got to
I'm
call
not
a
trying to
spade a
talk
spade.
trash. It's a fair criticism. I'm not
Right.
trashing nobody. I feel like that's a fair criticism.
Right.
Um, and so that led you mentioned the Benz,
Uh-huh.
and so that led to me putting the topic up right now. How does win a Benz help achieve the goal of Black Federation, or the Federation for Black Liberation? Now, first of all, what is this giveaway?
Okay. The giveaway is Basically, you donate $5 and you're able to enter a drawing to win a Mercedes Benz. So
Okay.
if you come on as an affiliate, you have an opportunity to win a car in December. If you come on as a donor, then you have an opportunity to win a car in March, June, September, or December. So we giving away 4 cars per year for the donors and once a year for all of our affiliates who are coming on board to help us promote it. So the first one that we're doing, which we're gearing up for this first one in March, that's going to allow us to raise enough money to go ahead and set up our digital radio network, which is WQEB 973. So through the radio station, being in 10 different markets, it will act as a hub for us to do research and analysis in those communities and find out what it is that they need. From there, we're able to pull the best senators and the best candidates for delegates so that we can evaluate the community. You get what I'm saying? So that's how we're going to answer that question, that concern that you have with BLM. I'm automatically trying to eliminate anyone having that same concern, which is why we have one group, the senators, focusing on businesses, and then the
Right.
delegates actually focusing on the people. And then those two groups are what's going to bring everybody else or whatever together to create these think tanks. So twice a year, we're going to hold think tanks with these different industries so
Right.
that we can talk about what it is that we need. I think the first think tank, once we get through this first car giveaway, one of the first think tanks that I'm going to release will be the Department of Communications. That means reaching out to news, TV, and radio that covers I think no, it's gonna be the Department of Communications and the Department of Arts and Entertainment. Yes, because so it's gonna cover film as well as entertainment TV. Because the first thing we need to address to me is the image of the black woman and
Definitely.
understanding that the black woman is the face and the trademark of the community. And if we continue to ignore the effect that the perception of the black woman has on the perception of the community, that we're doing ourselves a disservice. I feel like that's one of the first issues that we in fact need to address. The female is the first teacher of the child. So that
Right.
image of the female then gets passed down to the male. We've also seen this technique done during our enslavement, how they would play mind games with the female so that she would nurture her children a certain type of way and there would be less resistance. So if we really want to strengthen black men, I feel like we got to start with the black female first and her image and
Right.
changing that and raising up the self-esteem so that she will raise children who have self-esteem. So that now
That's right.
these men can get off their behinds and get out here and be the warriors and the backbone of the community like they're supposed to be. See, everybody has their role. That's why we're going to have a cis male and a cis female, because the feminine role is different from the masculine role. And I
Definitely.
understand that. And that's why I designed the Senate to be that way.
Right. And that's awesome. We definitely need to get back to the basics when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
that. And
Mm-hmm.
then with imagery, we have to keep in mind that, it's not just the rest of the world that looks at us through the lens
Right.
of the media. We look at ourselves through the lens of the media, right? And
Right.
so in real life, I've heard a lot of black people say they've never seen like a functional marriage, a happy marriage. And so somebody like something like the Cosby Show could be that, imagery that inspires them to
Right.
want to, become successful and have a family, loving wife and husband combination. And like, besides Blackish, which is very colorist, I don't know what more we have,
Right.
um,
We got to create it. And that's
right,
that's
right,
again where the radio station being the anchor to kick off this entire campaign, because the car giveaway is under the radio station. That's the whole purpose of all of that. Me understanding the role of media and how media transmits the information. And then that information is either going to be used to strengthen the community or disempower the community. So if we don't control our media or get on code as content creators,
right.
we're still going to be dealing with some of the same issues that we see in our
Over,
community.
right. And so Lance brings up a point of, well, as materialistic as our people are, this sounds plausible. The possibility of owning a Mercedes is a good way to get our people to contribute and invest in ourselves. Absolutely,
Exactly.
Lance. The whole premise of what is going on, uh, Queen is actually doing this raffle for several reasons, but one of
Hmm.
the main reasons is for a young lady who fell prey to the system, as so many of us do
Yeah.
in the Black community, because we are over policed, we're over, you know, scrutinized,
Monitoring. Yep.
right, by the social,
Order.
services
Hmm.
program, um,
Right.
especially they don't rule with an iron fist in their community like they would in
And
ours.
ours. Right.
Right, right.
They
And so,
don't.
would you
You're right
like to
about that.
discuss the young lady and
Yes.
her
Okay.
situation?
So the young lady's name is Kenya. I became friends with her mother on TikTok. I saw the story and I immediately wanted to be a part of it because the first part, me being a journalist, it was an interesting story and it was definitely an issue that needed to gain more awareness. So my investigative reporter skills started jumping out at me. And then I said, hey, I think I know what I need to do with this car giveaway. We need to not just have one cause, but multiple causes where I can also not only raise funds and awareness for the cause, but also report on these issues and get the information out to the people. Again, that was the purpose of me starting a radio station to bring light to some of these issues, not just report the news, not just entertain the public, but let them know about things that are really affecting us in the community in a much more entertaining way so that
Right.
people would be motivated to do something about it. So Kenya had her kids recently taken away from her for a second time. She was originally taken away from her mom. During that time, that's when she got pregnant, and then they took her kids away from her. Her foster parents were abusing her, and so she ran away from Georgia to New York, where her mother was. They got the FBI involved, and they found Kenya in a shelter with the kids with her mom, and then they just took the kids and took Kenya back to Georgia. Now mind you, she had already reported abuse. DCF never really investigated the family, and they put her kids back with that family that she had already reported abuse with, and they locked Kenya up. So she just got out of jail a few weeks ago. Her next court case is February the 3rd. She now has a criminal case and a family law case. So we're
Wow.
trying to raise money to get her a private lawyer to make
Right.
sure that justice is served on both courts, within both courts, I should say. That's our
Definitely.
goal.
We would definitely want to raise those funds. And I don't know if you've looked around for a pro bono attorney or anyone willing to do pro bono work. Um, but we still definitely still need to raise that money, um, just in case. We
Right.
She still needs adequate attorneys, and capitalism, you got to pay to play.
Yeah, you
So
do. And
you
that's what I
know,
think people don't understand. Like when it comes to money, you have to remember she has traveled. Besides the legal stuff, people don't realize even if we got a pro bono attorney, an attorney to waive his fee, that attorney is still going to have a cost associated with
ex-
obtaining documents and
right,
travel and
right,
food and other things that are associated with the case. So whatever money we raise, even if okay, we want to raise $200,000 altogether, but even if we only raise $20,000 by January the 20th, that's still enough money to really kick this campaign out there. You know what I'm saying? To really, really
right,
get it out there because at least we could put a retainer down on a lawyer. You see what I'm saying? Or at least
right,
get that lawyer some kind of money or funds to work with if they decide to pick it up pro bono. So whatever we raise, we're happy to raise it. If we
right,
get at least 20,000, that's really like the minimum we would need by January 20th to really say, okay, we did the first thing we need to do. And again, I'm going to be following her story. So I'm going to be reporting here on YouTube. I'm going to be reporting on TikTok. Everybody that's keeping up with me with this story, we're going to be breaking this story. Like she already was covered by a lot of media outlets when she ran away. So we're going to be
right.
reaching out to those outlets as well to keep up with her story. I feel like if we could bring more light and publicity to it, it's more light and publicity for this particular issue.
Exactly. And so
Yeah.
that'll be absolutely amazing. Like I said, having the FBI involved. I mean, how insane is that?
Yeah.
When they didn't even investigate the original complaint of abuse in the
Right.
foster care system. So
Right.
that's what the iron fist does whenever it comes to justice for our people,
Right.
or they over intervene. This has like been the story of everything, and
Right.
so um, a perfect example of like systemic racism in
Right.
practice. So
Yes, it is. Because a lot of people were like, I know some people, the story sounded pretty far fetched. Oh, education, therapy, she can get that for free. And it's like, yes, the state does offer that, but that doesn't mean you're going to get it.
right,
The
right,
government is offering SBA loans, but everybody hasn't gotten their loan. The government is
right,
offering stimulus checks, but everybody hasn't gotten their check. So
right.
we're just
Exactly.
trying to come together and collaborate and make sure what needs to get done needs to get done. And and the way some people responded to it on TikTok to me was very telling about the pathology of Black people. We are
Right,
we are angry with the system, but at the same time, the system is always your solution.
right,
Why are you going to bat for the system and telling me about what the system can do when we're trying to dismantle the system? That was the whole reason why we decided to say, you know what? F the system, and we're going to create this COVID-19 card giveaway to try to relieve people that have been impacted very badly by this situation. Because even Kenya's judge passed away because of COVID-19, and that had an effect on her case. Yeah,
wow,
when her judges passed away. Yeah. So I don't think folks are really realizing what the role of our nonprofit is. So thank you for putting that up now. So yes, we could talk about that.
right,
As far as nonprofits go, for the people who don't know, the purpose of a nonprofit is to provide goods and services that the government is unable to provide. And in
right,
turn, it gives that particular organization is exempt from taxes. So there's a reason why we're trying to do this card giveaway. And I decided to start the QEB Foundation because I'm trying to provide services and goods for Black people that the government will not or cannot provide. And if
right,
Black people do not support non profits that are directed by Black people, then Black people can't complain about why they're not getting services. Why are they
right,
getting the bad treatment? Why are we getting it ignored? Well, the government has set up provisions for us to do it ourselves. So either we're going to be self-sufficient or we need to just be quiet.
exactly. Um, and a lot of times, I've mentioned this before. Um, we tend to scrutinize Black owned or Black run anything, and so you know, I I want to bring this up lightly. I felt it was unfair uh, for a certain group on TikTok to scrutinize or put you under the microscope, um, and with such vitriol, and
Right,
and you have the paperwork, you have the
right,
documentation showing
right.
you have a viable nonprofit that is
Hmm.
serving the community. And
Right.
so I just want you to talk about that for a little bit.
That was probably one of the most heartbreaking moments ever in my life, besides, maybe the love of my life or an ex-boyfriend rejecting me. That was
Right,
really, it's hard to be rejected by your own people when you haven't done anything.
right,
I understand. It all started from me using a news headline that featured Quan Charles to make a point about dead bodies versus dead presidents. So I tell
right,
people there's no point in us continuing to promote, dead bodies if we're not ready to pull together the dead presidents that are needed to fix the problems in the Black community, because it is going to take economics. I'm done trying to pretend like slavery is not economical and that the oppression of Black people is not economical and it's only political. That's why we're not winning. You know what I mean?
right,
When you look at the Jews and you look at the Asians, you look at everybody else, all of those groups, once they got to a certain level of political liberty, they begin to focus more on the economics. Black people are the only ones still saying, love us, pass laws for us. You know what I mean? What you got to
Right.
do is we need to buy our candidates. We wouldn't have to
Right.
beg them to pass laws in our favor if we would be able to fund our own candidates, groom them,
Exactly.
and then fund them. And it just seems as if Black people are still not understanding that America is, in fact, a corporation. So why are
Right.
you still trying to deal with America as a sovereign when she has showed you over and over again that she's, in fact, a corporation? You are
Exactly.
upset with the corporation for handling their business when really Black people just need to handle their business. Now, what the fold did was saw me, because I don't mind calling them out, they saw me handling my business. And they had an issue with that because Black people have become complacent with running their mouth, even though we don't run nothing.
Right.
And they knew that Black people had started supporting me and had begun to start listening to me. And the last thing they wanted was for me to get any real foothold, power, or control on TikTok to influence Black people, because then that meant that they could no longer come on TikTok and talk. They would actually have to start doing and building stuff. And it's easier to talk than it is to build. But you got to
Definitely.
be built for this, as they say. You got
Right.
to be born for this, as they say. And I know that I'm chosen. So I can speak in the manner that I speak because I know what I'm talking about, because I've already seen it. And the things that I'm talking about have already been proven in the Jewish community. So even if you disagree with me, even if you think I might be being dishonest or deceitful, all you have to do is look at the Jewish Federation and then tell me how the Jews are doing in this country.
Exactly. You brought up several points just now. So, even Jewish people have think tanks as well, that help serve to get them to implement Israel in the Middle East. You know, and they proved how having Israel in the Middle East could benefit the United States. And so, I find it very interesting, that people would criticize something like that. And I've actually talked about think tanks before on TikTok. I'm gonna send you that video that I did. I did a couple of videos on think tanks,
Okay.
on
Right.
TikTok, and so I thought that was a perfect idea. And even especially with the Jewish community, they use think tanks to really propel themselves politically and economically. And
Right.
so we live in capitalism, so everything requires capital. And so,
Right.
last night I was talking about this. I said, like, you guys can't be upset about your politicians not, catering to your needs, and you don't
Right.
ever support them. And we have the
Right.
money. We have the
Right.
money to support ourselves and our
Right.
community. We choose not
1.7
to
trillion.
spend on that. Huh?
Right. 1.7 trillion.
Right.
You can't be,
Right.
your GDP can't be 1.7 trillion and we still saying the issue is white racism or the issue is white supremacy. The issue is also Black apathy. How about that? Let's talk about Black apathy.
Right.
Do you really care? Do you really care? Are you willing to stop going, like, what was, I think somebody on TikTok released, uh was it Walmart, Amazon, Delta, UPS, a certain number of companies that are funding the Republicans who allowed the insurrection to go on. Are you ready to put your money where your mouth is? See, a lot
Exactly.
of people talk, that's what I'm saying, but are you really ready to put your money where your mouth is and stop supporting these corporations that are funding these bullies?
Okay, to be fair, there have been a lot of people, especially on social media, that have run scams on our people. These scoundrels have ruined it for people who are sincere about helping our people. And so no one is disagreeing with that.
True.
Uh, Lance, it's definitely right about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, a lot of times people have been taken advantage of, but at the
Right.
same time, in Queen Everlena's situation, I felt like they didn't do their due diligence well enough.
Mm-mm.
And so they were really talking from a place of not knowing. Um,
Right.
so it wasn't like they did a gotcha, moment.
Right.
It was more of, and they didn't ask her about her
Right.
information first.
Right, at all. They
Yeah,
assumed that my business was a for profit. They never asked if it was a nonprofit or a charity. I'm helping people start businesses, meaning I'm helping people create jobs, meaning I'm helping people decrease the unemployment rate in the Black community. So why do you have an issue with me using a news article featuring Quan Charles to make a point about, you know what I'm saying, which would help the Black community? They didn't make all of those dots and those connections because the agenda was not to call me out because they really felt I did something wrong. It was because they didn't want me to gain any power on TikTok. And they didn't want to lose any of the share that they already have on TikTok. That was what that was really about. But if Black people, this is what I say to people all the time when you've been scammed, I'll ask them questions. Did you do research? So we're not going to act like scam artists and frauds don't exist, but let's
Right.
also not act like Black people do their research.
Right.
They do their due diligence. And anytime anybody has ever asked me for a document, I've had no problem giving out my phone number, which I actually have in my name. I have my Cash App and I have my phone number listed in my name title here. So if you want to Cash App me to donate, you can do that. If you want to call me on the phone, text me, request one sheet, and I'll send you the one sheet so you have the entire plan of action for this year. So I don't have a problem producing documentation that is necessary because anytime you are recognized by the government, you have to produce documentation. But Black people don't be asking. And then when you give them the documentation, they don't read it. You understand what I'm saying? When they tried to out me, they was not even on they didn't get the proper registration. They didn't get the right information from IRS and they had the wrong website. So how you gonna out somebody and your sources are completely wrong and outdated? It didn't make any sense. And then when they tried to prove that they did do research, they ended up proving that my business was in fact legitimate. So they basically told on themselves. But that's what you do when your agenda is malfeasant. That's what ends up happening. So I don't have any problems. And again, that's why I could talk the way I talk, and I'm confident in sharing my plan because I have all the documentation to back up what I'm saying. Now, to keep some of that documentation legitimate, it takes money. It costs money for licenses. It costs money to have accountants, do your taxes and things like that. Business costs money. It costs money. So as a nonprofit, I have to ask people to support. You know what I mean? I can't just only solely depend on the government to support. If the people are not supporting the business, then there's no point in having it. But I know Black people need it, and they just got to wait and catch up to realizing that this is something they need. So once they realize it's something that they need, then, all will be good. In the meantime, I just keep it popping over here. That's what we do. We just keep it popping over here. You got to show people better than you can tell them. And that's something I learned from my stepfather. Seeing is believing. Seeing is believing. So I don't know where she went. I don't know if y'all can still see me. She went somewhere. Okay, yeah. Kamara, I got you. Can you hear me? I got you. It was the marketing. I understand that part. But if it was just the marketing, then the marketing should have been addressed, not the legitimacy of my business. So the legitimacy of my business is an indication that there is an ulterior motive in attacking me. It wasn't simply just to set me straight. I don't know where she went. The stream had went out. Well, it's saying we're still live. Can you guys see me? Can you get in the chat and let me know if you can see me? That way I know if the chat is still being seen or if the chat stops when she goes out the room. Okay. Kamar, did I answer your question? Do you have thank you, Lance, for responding. Okay, Kamar, I don't know if I'm saying your name right. If I'm not, could you put it phonetically in there so that way I make sure I'm saying it? Because I don't know if it's Kimar or Kamar, but you understood what I was saying, right? If marketing was the true issue, then marketing should have been the only thing that was addressed. And if you're going to, she's coming back in now. And if you're going to address me, if you're going to address me in regards to my marketing, then you have to also address the Charles family in regards to their marketing, because they use Emmett Till to raise funds and raise awareness. Now, Emmett
Right.
Till's mother gave permission to raise awareness with her son's picture, but she never said anything about raising funds. And that
Right.
was what I did. I used a news headline featuring Con Charles in order to raise awareness and funds for my nonprofit organization. And again, if the issue was marketing, then marketing should have been the only thing that was addressed. When you go as far as saying my business is a pyramid scheme and my 501c3 doesn't exist and is invalid, you are committing slander and you are defaming my character, because that had nothing to do with the marketing. And so that's why I pushed back and kind of clapped back with the whole situation, because I was like, okay, cool. If you didn't like the marketing and you were offended, I apologize for that. But I'm not going to apologize for defending my business. That doesn't warrant you attacking my business because you didn't like my marketing tactics. You can't walk around saying people's business is
Fraudulent.
illegitimate. And
Right.
right. And here's the real tea. T Nathan, Vanessa, Goddess Mia, and Anthony were the first people in August that I asked to support me with the charity before I even started marketing. And they all said no. And they was not interested. So how you gonna come back months later after I build up my account and people are about to send me a lot of money, and now you decide that I'm a problem, that my marketing is problematic right when black people was finally starting to send me money? Come on. That's suspect. I'm sorry, that's sus. See, y'all don't
Right.
know the whole story with me and them. Y'all only know what they tell y'all because they got more followers than I do. So they was able to push the narrative further in the direction that they wanted than me, because I don't have as many, eyeballs on my page like they do.
Right. Exactly. And so, now that we got that cleared up, we definitely need to start doing our research more often, and we should definitely be supporting each other. We're supposed to be on
Exactly.
the same team, you know, and you
Right.
still in the ball for me, and making the goal for the next team. Like we're supposed to be, riding together, and so
Right.
this is just a lesson learned. If we communicate with each other, we can, find out the information without, possible slander. Um,
Right.
and it feels like that crab in a barrel mentality
Oh,
that
it
we've been
was.
talking
It
about,
was.
right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and then when it's more than one person versus one person, it definitely has a different type of effect. And so,
Right.
um, neither here nor there. I thought this was interesting.
Yeah.
Your inspiration was K Camp, like you
Yeah.
on the
Okay. Yeah. Comfortable. Yes. My inspiration was K Camp. Let me see. When I stopped working for Akon and them, I couldn't find a job, and so I started doing artist showcases. And so when I started doing the other showcases, that's when I met K Camp. He donated to my fund for the Make a Wish Foundation, and then I ended up sending his music over to Boo Chum, who is Akon's little brother, who was also the VP of Def Jam during the time. So K
wow.
Camp didn't know that I sent his music in, but because he supported my cause, I decided to support his music. 3 months later, they reached out and they started managing him, and then 3 years later, he was officially signed to Interscope.
Wow.
Right.
That's amazing. And it's like a small world in the entertainment field. So, one hand will wash the other, definitely. Um, and so, after you um, sent in his music,
Mm-hmm.
and did he ever talk to you about any of that?
His mother did, like once she found out, because like I kind of never really told them. I wanted it to go through. So sometimes when you want things to go through, you don't tell anybody. You just do it and you let go and you let God. And that's what I
Right.
did. And I feel like that was why I was successful, because now the whole world knows who K Camp is. And I played a
Right.
little small role, a very, very small role in that because of my connection to Akon. So that was that, you know? So, but his mother, I don't know if he knows at all, because I really kind of dealt more with his mom. She was the one that was managing him. Then, what you call it? Then, me dealing with K Camp directly.
Mhm. I was just saying goodbye to
Yeah,
Cam.
no, I saw it. I saw her comment. She was like, "We got to talk about marketing and make sure that it's not what is it insensitive or you know." And I
Right,
get that. That's what I said. I kind of get all of that, because at the time when I posted it, I didn't think about it as this is a minor and people may react badly to it. Being that I had did the same marketing technique with other um other people who had passed, and I didn't get any backlash. And the only backlash that I got was on TikTok. I didn't get any backlash for my Corn Charles video on Instagram. I didn't get any on Twitter. I didn't get any on Facebook. People did not start coming for my neck until T Nathan posted his video and started telling people to tag me and shame me and all of that. That's how it was kind of like a snowball effect. But outside of TikTok, nobody cared. Nobody, absolutely no one cared, because people got the message and they understood that it was about economics was the ultimate, punchline. But I do realize if you was a mother, then you might have found what I did to be insensitive, and I addressed that. But guess what? The fold has never addressed. They have
right,
never formally apologized to me for slandering my company.
right,
And I'm sorry, I don't care if you don't like my marketing. That doesn't give you the right to say my business is a pyramid scheme and is legit.
right.
You don't get to say that. I know how you felt about the marketing, but marketing is only one aspect of a business. You
Right.
got PR, you have production, you have finance, and you have administration. My
Definitely.
marketing does not represent the totality of my business, so no one has the right to say my business is illegitimate because they didn't like my marketing. That's just being petty. That's like really, really petty. Yeah, we could have all talked it out, but I'm sorry, the fold that you are a part of, that is not their MO. And they did
Right.
not come to me to talk to me about anything. Goddess Mia called me on my phone and threatened me. That's why she's getting all the hate that she's getting right now. Because when you offend one of God's chosen people,
Right.
the universe will come to collect,
Yeah.
aka karma. So when you threaten somebody who was innocent and you did not apologize and they never made things right with me, I don't have to make anything right with them. I apologize. First of all, TikTok took the video down to 24 hours. So there was no reason to wage war against me because the video was no longer up. That's number one. Number two, I had already apologized to my followers. And when T. Nathan asked about an apology again, I apologized recently to my followers for a second time. But where is my apology for lying on my business? I apologize because they released the facts on my business, but they never apologized for calling me a rocket raccoon, a culture vulture, and saying my business was illegitimate. So where is my apology? And who made the fold the authority on what is and isn't appropriate for Black culture?
Well, so we have, hold on, we have Turek T, an anonymous troll, saying Big Mama's house looking triple chin burnt pancake Joe Biden supporter. And guess what? Guess the hell what? Nobody gives a fuck about you. Fuck you, your family, your mama, whatever you got going on. You don't come in here disrespecting nobody here. I don't give a damn about what you think, what you say. You say slanderous stuff. You don't show your face. You can join the live if you want to, and we can talk about it. We can get busy. I can roast you. We can do whatever it is, but you won't come up in
Right.
this motherfucker disrespecting not a motherfucking body. And there we go. We're demonetized. But still, no. I'm sorry. I apologize. I know.
Yeah, people can say that all day long. That doesn't mean
Yeah, he's
anything. You
blocked.
can call
He's
me a
blocked.
scammer all day. You
Yeah,
cannot it's just an opinion. Calling someone a scammer is just an opinion. You have no evidence to back up anything
and
that you're
so we
saying.
got another.
Where
We got
where is the
another motherfucker
evidence?
getting blocked. Actually,
Yeah. No,
yeah.
ask them for the evidence. Where is the evidence? If I'm a scammer, where is the evidence that I've scammed anybody. Who did I
Right.
take money from? Because to be a scammer, you would have to deceptively take money with the intent of not providing the service. So who did I take money from and not provide a service to them?
And
Without a valid reason,
right,
because sometimes you can, there's people that I owe stuff to, so that doesn't count if there's
right.
communication. And but for it to be a scam, I would have to intentionally deceive you. Mistakes happen, but I've never scammed anybody out of anything. So people can say, they can say whatever it is they want. They love me, those are fans. Let the
I
PR team do
know.
their talking.
You
Let them
here,
fans do
baby.
their
You in my
thing.
world.
Yeah, haters gonna hate. Haters gonna hate.
Yes.
What are they doing for the Black community? I don't care about nobody calling me a scam. What are you doing? What are
Right.
you doing for the Black community other than running your mouth? That's my
Exactly.
issue with the fold, because all I see is people doing this. I don't see any real work being done. I see y'all getting people fired, but I don't see y'all getting people any jobs. So I'm sorry, but I'm not impressed. When they start getting Black people jobs and start employing people, you got a business, but how many people are you employing? How many opportunities are you providing for Black people to
Right.
increase their income in the middle of a pandemic? So if you're
Exactly.
not doing that, you're just running your mouth.
I mean, are they doing workshops? Are they doing,
I don't know. I heard some of them are. I heard one or two of them are in real estate. So I was like, well, are they going to teach anybody how to buy a home? Are they teaching anybody how to do real estate investing? Like,
right,
why do you have these skills? Why are you? Why is your authority calling people out instead of using your degree to teach other people? That
thank
was
you.
my issue with Sonny. Okay, so Sonny, you got an SBA, but who are you teaching to start a business? Who
Right,
cares if you got an MBA if you're not using that to educate the people? Because that's your authority. Your authority is not over Queen or
right.
in Queen. Your authority is not TikTok. Y'all, how you Black on TikTok trying to moderate other Black people on an app that already censors Black people? How does that make sense? How does that make sense? You like
Um,
my gap? Thank you. I seen that. Thank you.
yeah, I
I like
know.
my gap too.
I would block people, but like they're bringing traffic over here. Come on, make
Right.
another comment. You bringing
Let the
traffic,
people, let the PR team do their job. Let them do their job.
right? Right, because
Haters gonna
we
hate.
got
Them people doing
it
what they
just
supposed
doubled
to
up
do.
in here, honey. You
Right.
you
Let
came
them
in
hate.
to troll, and it just got more people to come in.
Yeah. Let them hate. Let them folks hate. That's what they do. They not stopping nothing over here.
No, you bringing more people. Thank you, love. Thank you, Ace Salty Cove.
Right.
Thank you,
And
Memphis
and that's why
Bubba.
I said, yeah. And that's why I said, Kamara, I don't know if you heard me on TikTok today. That's why I told people y'all can keep hating me for a technicality, or we can come together. We can either move on, leave that shit in the past, move on, and build this federation up. But it's on y'all. Y'all either way. It's one video. You're not gonna hold me to the fire over one video. That
Right,
doesn't make any sense to me. That says to me you didn't like me anyways. If you
right,
want to take that to heart, you never liked me. And if you don't like me, that's something going on with you. That ain't got nothing to do with me.
right. And anyone who hears something about you and doesn't approach you about it, they were just waiting for a reason not to like you. You know what I
Right,
mean? And so if that's how it is, then F it. Who cares? So yeah, thank
right.
you, love. Oh, you left. You left. Oh, you should have stayed. You should have stayed, honey. I don't mind. I can roast a troll. All you
Right.
incels out there ain't got
I
nothing
mean,
but
at least he was creative. He said the gap in my mouth was the way that God was letting everybody know that that I was a big fat liar. I was okay, I'll take
okay.
that. That was, at least it was creative now.
All right.
I only get mad when they're not creative. That's when
I
I get
did
mad.
not mean to cuss on your because I know we're talking about your federation, but I was like, nah, you ain't coming up on here dissing my guest whatsoever. I bully the bullies. Like I don't play. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
He was
So
creative though. He or she, or I don't want to say, or binary. Like, I don't know your gender, sir. Don't
non-binary.
come for me.
They, them.
They, yeah, they was creative. I don't like the
Right.
ones that don't put no effort into it, because I feel like I'm worth the effort. If you're gonna
Right.
insult me insult me. I'm offended when I'm not offended. That's when
Right.
I'm offended when I'm not offended. Like I was like, bruh, you really just sat there and like, bro, come on now. Come on now. You could do better than that. You could do better than
Yeah.
that. You can do
Yeah.
better than that.
I just need you to show your face in your in your icon.
Right. That's
Post.
always the ones. That's always, but I'm the scammer though. You see what I'm saying? You won't show your face, but I'm the scammer. And I'll show my face. I'll show my documents. I show my phone number. That's my real direct line. I don't have anything to hide.
Right.
I'm real as they come. So,
Yeah. Lance says,
exactly.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Talk is cheap.
It
Talk is
is.
cheap. Yeah.
Right.
It's taxing to do the work though, to do the community
Right.
work.
And so
And
I
so,
had to just ignore, like they said, you got to ignore the naysayers. That's why I said, if I learned anything from 2020, I understand why Beyonce does not give energy to the naysayers, because you will lose you will lose direction, and you will lose the goal, and then you just look crazy, and you wasted that energy when you could have been putting that into your creativity. At
right.
the end of the day, that's what you really want to do, is put things into creativity. Oh, I'm glad I just plugged my phone in because it was on 1%. My
Oh
bad,
my
y'all.
goodness. No
So if
problem.
I
No
if I
problem.
click off, I'll come back in.
Okay.
See, you got to
Okay.
listen to
Yeah.
Spirit. Spirit just told me to do that.
That's right.
What'd you
That's
say?
right. That's right. And so the main reason why I wanted to address that was because, anytime you have accusations of that manner, it's always best to confront it and talk about it. And
Right.
you're an open book,
Yeah, I
like
am.
we have nothing to hide. So, with nothing to hide, the truth will prevail every single
Right.
time. And
Yeah,
so,
it
like
does.
you said, a lot of these people that have this mentality to attack others, a lot of them,
Mm-hmm.
like, they're not happy in their lives. And
Mm-mm.
so, when you've got marital issues, when you've got in camp drama, not gonna name anything specific, but you know when you got stuff like that going on, yeah, you're gonna want to try to take it out on
Other
misdirect,
people.
misdirect
Mm-hmm.
your energy where you need to be dealing with your spouse. You need to be dealing with your issues. You need to be dealing with your drama. I'm gonna try to just keep it as simple as can be. But yeah, you need to attend to your personal life and stop trying to focus on somebody else and putting out false information. You know,
Right.
so
Right.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Because
All
energy could be
shady,
used.
all palm trees. I'm sorry, the trolls came and I had to. Yeah, I'm shady right now. So,
Right.
Queen, I'm shady because I'm defending another black woman. I don't
That's
I
right.
don't care about nothing else. But
Mm-hmm.
when you gang up on somebody and you have false
Right.
information, I'm mm-mm, coming for you,
Right.
coming for you.
Right. And so
So
is the universe. The universe
right,
does. You see what that's why I keep telling, that's why I say to people, you see what Goddess Me is going through. Now you see what Consciously is going through. And all I can do is laugh because people kept sending me them apology videos. I was like, y'all are so messy. Why y'all sending me these videos? So I say, let me just go ahead and address it. And I was just like, people will, when they now maybe when they see him apologizing to the trans woman, they will understand what I mean when I say, yes, I lost on purpose. I just let it go, because once you realize a person is not listening to you and they're not hearing you and they just talking to you any kind of way, it's really just
right,
a waste of time trying to get your point across. You just let go, and you let the universe handle it. And
right,
everything that we have been talking about and everything that I have felt, that trans woman had felt, but she was able to bring it out of him. And then he ended up having to apologize to her and admit that he was being defensive and dismissive. And it was funny to me because it was like, that is what the black women that you kept calling biphobic, that was how they felt.
right.
That was how they felt you was treating me and why they was upset with you. But I also, I realized
You
that,
blocked Kim.
did I?
We
What's
gotta
her
we
name on
gotta
TikTok?
unblock her. We gotta unblock
What's your
her.
name on TikTok? What did you say to me? You might have said something, or
Queen
I might not
Tavon.
have understood what you
Queen
said,
Tavon.
or or you might have. I blocked people. If you hit me up during that time when all that crazy phone stuff was going on, then you might be blocked because you might have said something.
Right.
And I
Right.
just was blocking people. Anybody that was making videos or commenting or saying anything, I just started blocking them because I didn't want to hear it. But in any case, as far as yeah, like the conscious lead thing goes. So I
Right.
didn't, I just, I addressed it, but I was showing people at the same time too. This is karma. When you attack or you disregard one of God's chosen people,
Right.
God will collect on your ass.
That's right.
Period. They're going to collect on you. And now everybody can see, if they are able to read between the lines, they will see the way he did her is the way he did me. But the question you need to ask is, why did he apologize to her and give her that respect and compassion, but didn't give it to me?
Because
Misogynoir.
he drew a line
So,
in the sand and he chose which side he's on. He continues to do that over and over again. And so, like I said it, I added him and told him in the comments, you black women told you they feel gay men get out of line and call them bitch. And you said that's none of your business. And then a bisexual man says that he felt rejected, so that reflects on all black women. You jumped on his side. You had something to say, but you had nothing to say when they said, well, gay men call black women bitches all the time. He had nothing to say. So I need you to stay over there and have nothing to say when it comes to a guy being a lame, being rejected, and taking it out on all of us and making it reflect
right,
as, we got to explain our sexuality to you when really you just, you probably just a lame. I'm not attracted to you, like I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but like
right.
y'all came at us disrespectful, so clap back, Um, but yeah, I'm not gonna get too crazy with it. But yeah, I got some words, I got some thoughts because you claim to be unapologetically black, but you apologizing to everybody but black people. Boom,
Right. So I just say
boom.
let the man grow, because I like that he, even though I didn't get what I felt I should have gotten, I'm
Right,
glad that he's at least recognized that he has a flaw in a certain area. But it's going to
right,
be between him and his creator for him to work on that and get to the point where he realizes, oh damn, that's what I did to Queen. That's why she's saying the stuff she's saying. You get
right,
what I'm saying? Like, if he can have that epiphany with the trans community, if it's truly growth, then he'll have that same epiphany eventually with me. And that's also how I feel about the phone. Eventually, they're going to have their epiphany where it's like, wait a minute, this woman is actually doing real stuff, and we could have destroyed her brand before she even
right,
had an opportunity to help the people. But because I'm
right,
ordained, they can't touch me. They can only test me.
right. That's right. Right. And so, I feel like the ancestors guide me constantly. I know I'm not
Mhm.
as big as an account as everybody else, but I feel like people still hear me and see me. I may
Oh,
not
they
get,
do.
yeah, and they respond subliminally.
Right,
But it's okay. I do direct, I do some subs, I do all of those.
right.
So yeah, and you know, I felt like I was like, I gotta cut this conversation short because y'all are just trying to dog black women because they don't want you. And
Right,
you know, like that's not cool. And
right.
I don't think he ever apologized to black women for that because he
Mm-mm.
he criticized black women in a way he would never do the gay community, the bisexual community. He would never tell them to psychoanalyze why they are the way they are sexually. But he did that to black women, and that's a shame. So, oh well. um, so I'm
Cold,
gonna go to
right.
the next topic.
Okay.
And so COVID-19, the effects on the Black community. Yeah, we are having devastating results. And I actually duetted a video of a doctor, and he was admitting that there are racial biases within the medical profession.
Right.
And so that is the main reason why COVID-19 is affecting our community the way that it is. I mean, a lot of it is the underlying effects, the underlying conditions as well. And so, with underlying conditions, uh, a lot of those have to do with the lifestyle, what we're putting in our bodies, and our air quality condition, all sorts of things. And so, if you look at it, you know, I've lived in several hoods, and there are food deserts. And essentially, food deserts are where places where you cannot purchase fresh produce at a fair rate. And so you could go to the liquor store and get one apple for $1.25. You could go to the gas station and, purchase an organic drink for $5. But, everything is marked up so high and you don't have a big variety. And then there's, fast food everywhere, not too many healthy options, not so many gyms or places where you can exercise.
Hmm.
It's you can't run at the park if there's needles everywhere. So that's what the Black community has to deal with. And so when you have underlying conditions, and then on top of that you go to the
Right.
doctor, you say you don't feel well, they don't take you seriously, they give you some crap that doesn't work and send you on your
Right.
merry way, and then you come in dying, and then it's too late to save you. So
Right. Like that
yeah.
doctor, was it Susan Moore? That was Dr. Susan Moore that complained about the way she was getting treated, and
Yes.
she had to fight
Yes.
for them to give her medicine, and then ultimately she succumbed to COVID-19, which is ridiculousness. And you're right. I saw the video that you had posted regarding that. Like that was just like completely unwarranted and uncalled for. But we go through that, not just when we're
Right.
sick. Even I go through that um when I first was realizing that I had water on my knees and I kept thinking it was something more or something wrong. They didn't want to give me no x-ray. I had to really fight these people, and that's what they do. Ain't nothing wrong with you. Nothing's wrong with you. And you tell them that you in pain, and yeah, I don't. It's a lot of internalized bias. But even just in the medical field alone, they have a lot of bias, even in the terminology that they use and how they measure things. There's a few TikTokers that focus on that, and they talk
Right.
about that. It's like this Asian, I don't know her name, but it's an Asian lady. She does a lot about systemic racism in the medical field and showing how certain things she learned in school have an implicit bias against Black people and other people of color.
Right.
So again, my suggestion, and you and I have talked about this before, is a hospital. See, with a federation, I'm able to raise funds and organize people so that we
It's
can
your
put
device,
up
Lance.
hospitals.
I'm sorry.
Huh?
It's
He said,
he's
"Am I
asking.
buffering or is it his device?"
It's your device, Lance.
Yeah, I
Okay,
don't know.
continue.
I'm not buffering. Can you hear me? It might be my Wi-Fi.
I can hear you.
I don't know if he can hear me. He can hear me.
Y-
You can hear
Can
me.
you hear us,
Okay,
Lance?
cool. So yeah, Lance couldn't hear me. He said I was buffering. So you know how like there are 200 counties identified, okay, with the federation and everything. 200 counties identified. Imagine if we were able to put a hospital in each of those counties. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
That's 200
Right.
hospitals. That's a hell of a lot of money too. That's almost like, let me think. The average, okay, the clinic that I know that's here, when they did hospitals, I think they use about 4 million to create. So if you want to do a hospital, you probably, that's a clinic, like a state of the art clinic. So for a hospital, you're probably looking at anywhere from 4 to 10 million. And if you did 10 million, I think by 200, what is that? Is that 2 billion or 200 million? Yeah. Okay. 200 times 10. Okay. Would be 200 million. So it's almost like close to $1 billion. But again, if we're worth 1.7 trillion, we could easily set up hospitals with our own nurses and doctors and not have to deal with systemic racism. But again, it's not possible without a federation. You see, the Jews got hospitals and they also have clinics because they have a federation. And that's what I'm
Right.
trying to get people to understand. A lot of these issues and problems that we have in these different industries come from failure to organize think tanks to create an agenda that we can then get money behind it. But we have the money.
Right.
That's the whole thing. 1.7 trillion spending dollars. We already got the money. We just need to put it together. Killer Mike set up the bank, right? So you got the bank. We get involved with the bank. You see what I'm saying? That's a great place to hold the money. If we had a central bank, and they're also trying to create ways for their banking system to work with other minority banking systems. Now you have a central bank. You see
Right.
what I'm saying? So it's a process, but a federation is what will bring about these types of ideas. Because again, excuse me, again, you got people working independently instead of all the leaders coming together at a think tank and us coming figuring out what would the code be. We need a code for every industry and a code for every county.
Right. Definitely need a code. Definitely need um, our own way of communicating. Definitely need to do that because, you know, that's the perfect way to not be infiltrated or to not be sidetracked
Right,
by other agendas. So definitely
right.
need to get on code. And
Yeah,
so, you know, I really felt like COVID 19 felt like it was exposing a lot of the the dangers of our healthcare system, and
right.
even with the vaccine, you know, the first responders are refusing to take it, and if the people, you know, watching people die from COVID 19 don't want to take the vaccine, that makes me, you know,
Very
um,
telling. That's very
right.
telling.
Right. And you know, there's a lot of I did the survey on that video, how many black people distrust the, you know, doctors, and
Right,
you know, it's like 63%. So
right,
it's you know, it's the reason why I do only natural births. I go through midwives and doulas. I don't do um yeah, I don't do doctors with my babies.
right,
Like, yeah.
right.
So,
No,
but
everybody remembers Tuskegee. We all remember Tuskegee,
mhm,
so it is what it is.
right, exactly. And you know that's the one that we know about. I mean, imagine the ones we don't know about.
You're
It's
right.
just
I
like
ain't never think about it like that.
right,
That is so
right,
true.
right. So it's always with the black community is always something where we don't feel like you know, you don't believe us when we do tell you we're unwell,
Hmm.
so why would we believe you when you claim to have a cure or a vaccine,
Right.
a
And
anything?
the fact that they came up with it so quick though also don't make no sense. Like we still, I mean, you got the doctor that's got the nanotechnology as far as cancer goes, but it's like all these years y'all been doing research on all
Right.
these diseases, and all of a sudden y'all don't have a cure for the common cold, but you got a cure for COVID.
Right. There's
I don't
gotta
even
be
understand
there's,
it.
I think there's gonna be a point where we just kind of accept, kind of like pneumonia. We accept that a certain amount of people are gonna
Hmm.
die from it every year. Um, we just got to learn
Right,
how to treat it better. You know, we
right,
definitely have to
right,
treat it better. So
right,
it'll
right.
get
I
it'll
hope
get
so, because they're saying that we're gonna be forced to take it and we don't have a choice and all of that. And so I'm kind of like, I don't know if we do or don't. It just seems unconstitutional to me for them to force us to take a chemical, to ingest a chemical in our bodies that we don't really want. It doesn't make,
uh,
to me, that makes zero sense. Like, why would
yeah,
I take something if I don't really want it? And it also doesn't make sense to me that other countries are not having these cases the way America is having. It's like we like the guinea pigs or something for
right,
something bigger or going on. It doesn't make any sense. China where it all started, has moved on. And the UK and other places have already moved on, but yet we're still dealing with all of this. Like, I don't like that. We the baby country too. I don't like that.
Right.
I don't like that at all by no means.
Lance, I actually did see an article on that. The ambulance attendants in LA have been instructed to not bring patients to the hospital if they think they won't make it. And they are now deciding who will live and who will die. That's because I've actually lived in a lot of parts of. I've lived in South Central. I've lived in Inglewood. I've lived in Downing, um, and all of those hospitals. It takes hours to be seen, like just regularly. So
Right,
imagine if a pandemic occurs. Yeah, they're gonna turn down a lot of people, and there's not enough urgent cares to actually you know to help with that, because urgent
right,
care is for people who don't have life threatening things, broken bones, nothing like that. It's for when you have a headache, a cold, flu symptoms. They're supposed to have the COVID test as well, and LA has just always been like that. So I know why they're doing that. They're doing that because uh, I can imagine if somebody went into the ER with a broken limb, they might be waiting a good 4 hours if there's enough COVID cases ahead of them. Just
right.
imagine. You know, so yeah,
It's all
you're
disheartening. It's
right,
also disheartening. But yeah, it really does affect the community. So that's why we're doing COVID-19 card giveaway, so that we can help people who are not able to pay their bills, or they may be affected in some other type of way. It could be medical bills. So a portion of it, the way that we have it written down, and I did put a video out about this, is 50% going to Kenya's legal fund. 20% goes to affiliate cause benefit. 20% goes to the affiliate payroll, which they may use also for their cause instead of for themselves. And then 10% goes to the actual COVID relief for, bill pay, pretty
right
much. So this is what we're trying to do with this first 200,000 that we're trying to
to raise.
raise. We're trying to do that with that. Yeah, trying to
And
really, but
so
like I
far
said, even if,
mhm.
huh? Go ahead.
That's it. So far, we're not quite there yet, but
Right.
we're definitely looking forward to people donating.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And helping to get the word out. The more
right,
donations, the more word we can get out. It's gonna snowball, because there was one other lady that's a part of this, that's also a YouTuber, Omega.
right,
Um, I talked to her today. We're gonna be getting a press release done tomorrow, but she already hooked me up with another lady here in Atlanta who wants to get on board, and she's got a lot of connections and resources that she will also be bringing to the table. And it was a real spiritual thing, because she was looking at Blue Vine, and I was telling her Blue Vine was good if you're trying to open up like a business bank account. It's another one that's good, that doesn't have stipulations. You know what I mean?
right,
So it was funny, because she had happened to look at it and wasn't too sure what it was. And then we got on the phone. I happened to bring it up, and I was like, see, this is what I've been talking about with everybody. Everyone that I'm connected to, that wasn't the time for me to connect with people. But now I'm actually able to connect with people the way that I need to connect with them. Because even if I find an incident to be right or wrong, like they say, there's your plan and there's God's plan. So it
right,
whatever I'm going through or am going to go through is all part of the plan to reach that ultimate goal. Now is the time. You get what I'm saying? Now is the time, and we can just keep moving forward with that. So I'm really, really excited to see what we do. I know even with the 20,000, we'll still be able to do something in regards to Kenya, and something in regards to, the COVID relief and everything like that. But I know once we're able to give that first car away, it's gonna really, even, you know what I mean? We can get the 200,000 and we give away that first car. We're now we now position ourselves to raise millions of dollars. And now I can help millions of people, like way more people I can help. Because I think once people see that, okay, they really gave a car away, You know what I mean? What do you do after that? Now it's like, oh, this is real. And I'm doing something good for the community. Okay, yeah, this is where I want my money to go. You get what I'm saying? And then I'll probably have
Right.
a lot more affiliates on board as well that want to help kind of get the word out and be a part of what we're doing. So I'm excited nonetheless to see it blow up. So it's just a
Right.
process.
Right. And so um, I also wanted to talk about just Black women supporting each other in general.
Yeah.
Um, I know that, a lot of Black women are discouraged because social media and media in general shows a lot of disconnect between the Black man and the Black woman. And so, um, and I know a lot of sisters are hurt, right?
Right.
And so, in dealing with uplifting each other, I feel like it will help improve our relationship with Black men as well. Um,
Right.
I feel like we go at each other so much, and we're so quick to come at each other that Martin Luther King Hospital in South Central LA is ground central for this pandemic. Yeah, I know, Lance. I know. Um, and so when we look at how, like, I intentionally do not call people coons. Intentionally. I intentionally do not come after other brothers and sisters, especially if we're on the same side. I may not have a personal tiff with them offline, but I'm never going to bring that online. And
Right.
so I'm wondering, how can we implement a way to where even if you have a personal tiff with someone, you're not personally attacking them. You're not, you know, bringing
You
false
just
accusation.
agree. Yeah, you just agree to disagree. And that was always my thing with people. That's why I said a lot of people just, they don't know how to agree to disagree or just say, I disagree. They have to say, you're wrong, you're this. And it's like, that's not your authority, though. I think where it comes from is self-actualization. People are void. They're shells of human beings. They're not really people. They don't have their own mind or their own opinion, and that's why they project. So that's
Right,
something psychologically that's way deeper than just how Black men and Black women interact. That's just how people are interacting in general because of that human need to belong. So
right,
people don't know how to connect with inside themselves, so they feel the need to steal energy from other people, make you feel bad, and they steal energy by making you feel bad, or saying something crazy. Like I said, like even with the people who was in my comments with Kenya, and it was like, if you ask me for information, just ask me for information. If you need more details, you don't have to say your story's questionable. That's irrelevant. Saying that is irrelevant to you need more details. So why not just say I need more details? You feel me? People want
right,
to say that because they want to make you feel bad so that they can feel good about themselves. So
right,
it's a much more greater societal issue. I feel that's at bay. I don't do that. That's what I say. I don't go around on people's pages, like on social media, even when I see stuff that I don't. The only person I would say something to if they did something and I didn't like, and I may or may not say something on social media, would be Akon. Sometimes I'll say something like when that thing he had that interview with Vlad, I was very pissed and very upset, and
right,
obviously because I know him personally. So to me, it was bigger than just him coming online and saying what he's saying. It's me knowing his mother and how she talks and how she treated me and how she feels about African Americans. And then me knowing he had to grow up with all of that. So are you
right,
saying this because this is your own analysis, or is this your mother's prejudice being passed down? So I took it very personal when he
right,
made those statements about African Americans getting over slavery. But then he did an interview with his sister where he kind of clarified a little bit more what he meant, and he clarified to why he got involved with Takashi or whatever, and helped him. So it's like sometimes you just don't know where people's sources come from or where their intent is. And it can be upsetting and it can be disheartening and triggering when people just don't know. And I think
Right.
that's a big part. Black people, we don't know who we are, so we don't know who other people are. People don't take the time to get to know themselves and figure out who they are and what they stand for. So they really just spend their life um, attacking people that they consider to be an easy target. That's how I felt about the black girl who called herself calling me out for the Latinos, because I
Right.
just felt like she took it really, really personal, and it came from something that was personal, which um, blocked her from understanding where I was coming from. Like, how you gonna check me on a personal experience? Like, that makes no sense to me. You can
Right.
check me on an opinion, but you can't check me. You can't tell me that what I experienced wasn't
Wasn't
racism when you
real.
wasn't there, and
Right.
you're not me, and you're not inside of my body, so you don't have the right to tell me this and that. But again, you got a lot of people on black people online checking other black people on behalf of other communities, but then you don't see black people sticking up for other black people. It's like we
Right.
only stick up for each other when one of us dies. That's now you want to, or if you're rich and you're famous. But somebody like me, again, you saw very few people. You saw more people make videos dogging me out.
Right. Oh, come back. Oh my goodness. Oh, she left. Oh, you're back. You're back. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Can you guys hear her in the can you guys hear her? I can't hear her. Oh, she's gonna come right back, I think. And so you are absolutely right about that, Lance. Um, conflict resolution skills um, can be pretty effective, but both sides have to want resolution. And so, you know, a lot of times the conflict is pretty petty. Um, we have seen several times how many times the black community can be like easily divided just on political ideology alone. Yeah, yeah, I figured she had no audio. I figured. Um, I think she's gonna come right back. If not, that's all right. We'll keep talking. Um, and so um, when we talk about conflict I apologize. When we talk about conflict revolution, we're actually resolution. We're talking about a way to connect, relate, and unite. And so there's several ways to resolve conflict, but the main issue with conflict in general is the fact that both parties are not willing to see the other side, right? And so um, I've really been working on that. Um, but, I don't tolerate disrespect very well. Peace. Peace. How are you doing, brother? Indomitable spirit. Queen Everlena was here. I'm waiting for her to come right back. She had no audio. So I don't know if she's gonna come right back. Usually if you click off and then click back in, you got it. But I'm not sure where quite she's back. All right. She's back, y'all.
Yeah,
She's
I'm back
back, y'all.
on.
And
Yeah.
Indomitable Spirit is here, showing some
Okay.
love. That combined
Hey, peace
comment
and love.
represents him.
Okay. Yeah, it's one of my donors too.
Right,
Hey. Hey.
right.
Hey, Indomitable Spirit.
He is always supportive, and so even when I used to go live on TikTok, he was always supportive. So yeah, and he actually has a a gym in which he does community work, teaching martial arts. And so I would like to make a point just to talk a little bit about that. I know we were talking about basically conflict resolution within our community, but I
Right.
just wanted to touch really quickly on how important martial arts are, especially for an outlet to vent anger and to teach discipline, because the most effective peace the most effective, fighters are the ones with the most restraint. And
Right.
so, um, you know, teaching them to fight and how to fight, giving them the confidence to do that and to spar and have an outlet actually teaches them a discipline to control their anger
Right.
and use it in a way that is more productive,
Right.
pent up aggression just released. So he's doing community work through that with the youth, young Black youth in Virginia. Um, so back to conflict resolution. Um, we need to learn to not be petty. We need to learn to be more understanding of each other and come to a point where we both want to resolve the conflict. Because if
Right.
both people don't want to resolve the conflict, it's just going to be
Right.
what it is.
Right.
So, right,
Exactly.
right,
And I'm gonna tell you how we can do that and how that relates back to the federation. Remember how I was saying with the delegates, one of the things that the delegates do, with the scholarships and all of that in the community because they deal with the people through
right,
this structure, this hub that we create, which is going to be a chain of mini marts. We're able to institute a rites of passage program. I think that kids between 12 and 13 should start being taught. They should start being groomed for leadership. They should be
right,
taught military science. And so, with that, should be martial arts as well as art of war. So, I
right,
think all of those things should be part of a rites of passage because going back to the Jews, but Israeli Jews specifically in Israel, I think when you turn 18, you have to go serve in the military for like
right.
two
A
years.
lot
It's
of
like a
countries are like that.
requirement. And
Right,
so imagine if, as a Black community by county, we made it a requirement to not just learn the Black history in your area, but a
right,
requirement as part of your rites of passage to go through this process of learning these defensive skills, both physically, mentally, and spiritually. Imagine that and how that would carry you on into adulthood.
right.
Our community would look quite differently than what it looks like right now. I
Definitely.
believe we'd have less of an issue with the men. The men don't have to worry about the women saying that they ain't men, and then the women wouldn't have to worry about the men saying they trying to be men. You know what I mean? Like it's a rites of passage where you learn, your role. And of course, we would have to adapt it between the feminine and the masculine. That way, people, however they identify, can go through a rites of passage for either or. And for
Right,
those who feel they're both, well, you can just go head on through both. You know what I mean? Like you can go through both if necessary. So there are allowances that could be made for having a rites of passage system.
right. And even that would make a tremendous difference. Absolutely.
Hmm.
In like other countries I've heard of, when the young men turn 18, they have to either join the military or join the police force at age
Mm.
18 for 2 years, or
Right.
unless you're going to college. So if you're not going to college in some countries, you have to do 2 years in the military or 2 years in the police force, which I think is an absolutely great idea
Right.
because you know, um, I don't feel like young people are the ones that typically do police brutality as often as the older
Hmm.
people. If they were like, "Oh, I had to chase you down, so now I'm gonna beat your ass," um, it's quite different. They're young people aren't as jaded when they first join a group. They usually are more genuine and they have more uh, like good-hearted intentions than somebody who's been in the force for 10 years and they're overworked and tired and all of
Mm-hmm.
that. So yeah, that's a great idea, Queen Everlena. Definitely
Yeah.
something to transition them into structure, because it's
Right.
a lack of structure is what the issue is in the Black community.
Right.
Right.
And the reality is that, and the reason why I want to do it through like a series of mini marts slash community centers, it'll be kind of like a center. Um, is because parents have to work, and if we want to keep it real, we dealing with a lot of low income families, and so they don't necessarily have the time to give. So if we do the village concept, right, we do the
Right.
village concept, then every kid can still have access and not have to, be left out. You feel me? Those who can volunteer, and we can just put into the community. And once we see like the fruits of the labor, you know what I mean? When they kind of graduate, just like you graduate from school, they should graduate from being, you know, children into, the teens or whatever. But I feel like that's where our kids should go. First of all, our kids are more advanced and mature. So they need to start at like, age 12, already
Right.
starting their training and going through their rites of passage. Their rites of
Right.
passage should be between 12 and 18 for our
Right.
kids. That's where
Right.
their rites of passage should go. And then once they're 18, they should be ready to give back to the community and go into whatever it is they're going to go into, because at that time they're now entering college. And the reason I say we need to start at that age too is because our kids are being attacked at those ages, and they're not going to be able to defend themselves if we you get what I'm saying, if we don't teach them, like
Right.
Quan Charles, for example. Imagine if he had skills to defend himself.
Right. Exactly. And there's I know that Indomitable Spirit, he does martial arts. He's actually really, really good. And there's techniques that you can do to defend yourself against people with guns, and you being unarmed. And so a lot of it is a lack of knowledge, a lack of organization, a lack of structure, and being able to defend yourselves. Let us defend ourselves, and that story is covered nationally, for the next 3 months. Let one viral video go of someone who's, trained defending themselves happen. That police force will think about the next time they want to brutalize or attempt to brutalize someone. So definitely.
Right. Yeah.
My um the so-called talented 10th have something like this in the country called the Jack and Jill
Yes. Jack
Society.
and Jill Society. Exactly.
Right.
It's more
He
Bula
says
in
more
nature.
Buddha.
Exactly.
Right.
It's not open to the right. Exactly. It's the wealthy people
Right.
gatekeeping.
Right.
But they're serving the current system. They're not serving a system for black people to liberate black people. They
Right.
are the ones keeping us subjugated to this system, because
Right.
they get rewarded by this system for keeping the masses subjugated.
Right. Officers from
Yeah.
outside the community are occupying enemy military. Definitely. They're not invested in the community. They don't care about
No.
you, your life, your children's
Right.
lives, your grandmother. You know, that's exactly what they are, an occupying
Right.
military force. So yeah,
Yeah.
if you're not invested in our community, why are you here? You're taking your pension, your salary from our community and taking it elsewhere. So
Right.
yeah.
That's another issue. Yeah. It's like, why are they having more police coming from outside of the community policing that area? Yeah, all of those things. But
Right.
again, if we have our own system like Hood Watch with the Federation, once they
Right.
get to a certain age, want to create Hood Watch, kind of like a neighborhood watch, but it's just us watching over our communities ourselves. You see what I'm saying? Then
Right.
then now what? Policing the police. So now what? What you gonna do after that? And again, so that goes back to Kenya and why it's so easy, because we don't have these things in place. It makes it easy for us to be targets because we
Right.
are disenfranchised. They know we don't have the money like they do. Kenya, they prey on the poor because we can't afford to fight back. But if
Right.
we organize and pull our money together, now we're able to fight back. And see, that's what the Jews do. That's what the Asians do. That's why they don't really mess with those communities, because they're organized.
Right. Well, and I felt like the closest thing we have to that is the Fruit of Islam under the Nation of Islam. But
Yeah,
everybody doesn't want to join a religious organization necessarily. You
right.
know,
Exactly.
and so you make some solid points there about
Right.
needing that type of structure for
Right.
young black men, especially. Um,
Right.
it's and because I even realized, I was like, oh wow, the gangs are like fraternities for a lot of our brothers. You know,
Right. They are. Mm-hmm.
yeah. And so instead of trying to rule, you know, they could try to organize. Originally, the gangs in the United States with the Black Americans, they were community organizations. And so even when I lived in Inglewood, I remember this super OG, and he was telling me that he remembered like being in the same organization as the Black Panthers um, in his area. And so he remembered how, you know, it went from having guns to protect themselves against cops uh, to a lot of people becoming addicts and it turning into that. And so, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
our youth are just looking for a place to be loved and accepted and have time
Right.
with each other.
Right. Yes, they do. You're right
Right,
about that. Yeah, the state and the fed government tries to criminalize our community. Exactly. So the only way to do that is for us to control it. And that's what I said, with a federation, you got enough security people, army vets, you got the Fruit of Islam, you got NFAC. Those are the
yeah,
groups I plan on reaching out to create the Department of Defense. You see what I'm saying? Getting them all in one room and saying,
right,
hey, we need a program, we need something. I need two different programs. I need one for the youth as part of a rites of passage, you know what I mean? And then I need one for adults, you know what I'm saying, that adults can do. So we all on the same, just two different plans for two different like levels. But we can do this because there's plenty, like you say, dude Runda has the gym. So yeah, I'm gonna hit up every black owned boxing gym, every martial arts, black owned martial, every vet I can get, whoever I can get, and create that think tank with those people. Even the
right,
the Black Rifle Associations, and you know what I mean? Like, but it's just, it takes somebody like me, like, okay, I'm gonna get all these people in the room. That's what we're raising the money for. I will be able to do that with this card giveaway. That's why I say the first focus is on Kenya and getting that, so that we actually have an impact in the community, that the community can measure and say, okay, these people are the real deal. They gave away a car. They are actually, they got the lawyer. You know what I mean? They're doing what they say they're going to do. Step
right,
two, when we get to the millions of dollars, that's when I'll be able to pull all of these people together in one room, because they'll want to come. When I send a letter saying, hey, or email that we need to get together and do this think tank, they're going to be there. They're going to show
right,
up for me because they're going to know it's the real deal. Like, we doing real stuff over here and trying to
right.
make a difference and, create these programs and systems. So that's what the plan is.
Exactly. And us addressing individuals and their individual situations, to me, would be much more impactful than just saying, oh, we're going to do a food giveaway. Now, the food giveaways are important, the food banks are important, a lot of things
Right.
are important, but I feel like addressing real life changing issues
Mm-hmm.
is way more important than passing out turkeys on Thanksgiving. And so, um, no
Won't we
disrespect,
do it? Won't we do it?
No,
Or toys during Christmas time? Won't we do it?
right.
Yeah,
Toys for
it's
Tots.
just a
Yeah.
process. Believe it or not, you have to do things like that to appease the community because you have to have impact. If people
Right.
don't see impact, then they're not going to give. If they
Right.
feel like you're not actually doing something that benefits the community, even though, like you said, those types of giveaways don't create structure. That's
Right.
more for PR. That's more of
Right.
a public relations move. Yeah. But I understand exactly what you mean. But
Right.
that's
Well,
what we're trying to get. I'm trying to get there. We trying to get there. So this is the first step, and it's working out really well. It's starting small, but I feel like we'll finish big because by the end of the year, my goal was to raise 22 million altogether for all of the programs that I'm trying to do. And
and
I
it'll
believe
get
I'm gonna get there and I'm gonna get even further than that because
right.
I know people are gonna see with this car giveaway how impactful it is, and they're gonna be like, yo, I wanna be down, I wanna be involved, I wanna support. And we're just gonna be able to make even more of an impact because you can only do as much as your resources. And that's what I
Exactly.
try to get people to understand too. We can only go as far as our resources. So
Right. Right.
hmm
And so I'm definitely going to pledge to give next week. um, the bills hit. You know,
oh yeah. It's still kind of first week for everybody. Yeah.
right,
I
right,
totally get that. That's why we just want to get the word out and let people donate whatever they're going to donate and just take it from there. Whether they can do it
yeah,
on Cash App or they can go donate at the funnel. So I feel like our funnel will start popping more once I start getting more people involved and they sign up as an affiliate and start really pushing their link out. So it's really just a process. It's a process. But I'm excited either way. And I appreciate you letting me come on your channel and talk about it and everything. Got to connect with Queen Tovin. That's her name on TikTok. I saw there. Yeah, during that time, I just started blocking any and everybody related to the fold. I didn't care whether you was right or wrong. If I seen anything or a hashtag, I just was blocking people.
right,
During that time,
right.
I just started
I
I just went a day and
understand.
just yeah, I just was over it. But I was like, they'll realize they'll see the error in their ways eventually.
Right, and like I was saying, that crab in the barrel mentality, we definitely need to get over that. And if
Yeah,
when it comes to resolving conflict, okay, you don't agree with me here, but do you agree with me over there? And what can we do to collaborate? You know,
right.
what can we do to
Amen.
support each other? You don't like
Right,
this? What about that? Can we
right,
work on this? And so
right,
that's what my main goal is as well. And so you know anytime somebody asks me for help, especially concerning 501c3s and doing
yeah,
community work, I'm like, give me a deadline. What do you need? Let's try to get this done. And so a lot of times it's not even just about donating money, even though please send $5 or more to enter into
right,
the raffle to win a Mercedes Benz.
right,
A lot of times 501c3s need they may need you if you have a printing business. They may need you to
right,
send out brochures. If you
right,
have a different type of business or offer different services or products, if you give it to them for free, that is still valuable. And so, Queen Everlena and her federation are definitely
right.
trying to work to make real solutions and
Mm-hmm.
real life in real time. So
Right,
please donate. I didn't want to bring up any other topics only because I don't want to change the focus from your federation. Um,
right.
because we could have talked about, this misogynoir we experienced recently.
Yeah. We just
Oh
touched
man.
on a little bit.
Yeah, let's go
Just a
ahead.
little
Go
bit.
ahead. I mean, we can if you
In
want
the
to. Go ahead.
no, I was saying that we had touched on it earlier just a little bit as it relates to the foundation and the legitimacy
Right.
um of that. So we had to explain that because that was a part of that disconnect between me and the fold. I feel like that was also misogyny, but it is what it is.
Oh yes, Queen. I apologize. Can you give
They can
tell
go
me your
to yeah, I'll text it. Hold up. I'll put it in the chat.
okay?
I'll
Put
go
in the
put it in the
chat and
chat.
I'll
You
put
can you can go because they can go do it at the Cash App. Or and make sure you put Kenya's legal fund for the Cash App. I put both in there. That way when you get ready to do your taxes at the end of the year, you're gonna want to put that on there for that. So there's gonna be that. Hold up, there's that one. And then I'm gonna give you the website where you can go and also click Win a Benz if you want to do it through the website. Okay, so I put both in there. All right, so you guys got both now. So either do Cash App or you can go to the website link and click when you get to that page, click the link that says Win a Benz and just fill out the order form. And if you scroll past the order form, you'll also see the blue button that says work for WQEB 97.3. And then you can also become affiliate and start making some money helping us get the word out. So you get to donate and help. That way that'll give you at least two chances to win a Benz, one in March and one in December. So if you become an affiliate, you're looking at December. You become a donor, you're looking at March for the drawing. So
yeah, it
yeah,
does take a lot of maturity. It takes maturity and humility. You have to be
right,
humble enough, you know. You
right.
can't think you're above
Very
everybody
true.
and above everything. Um,
Right,
yeah, you
right.
know. And
Just
so
take it
like
as it goes.
in me, I'm willing to apologize if I, feel like, I've transgressed against someone else. I would definitely apologize. I'm not
Right,
afraid to say I'm sorry. Um,
right,
because I learned from my parents, they never apologized even when they were wrong. And so I was like, I don't want to be like that. I want to be able to, if I know something is wrong or I feel I've done
mhm,
someone wrong, or even if I don't feel like I've done someone wrong, if I just want to be on good terms and have good energy, I'm definitely
right,
going to apologize. I apologize because my intention is not to hurt you, brother,
right.
sister.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's not even the you know, right, exactly.
right. So, and like I said, we're all got to get better. And so, even if I don't deal with you, I'm not going to take it online and say, I don't deal with you. Um, I feel like there's better ways to address it than that. And we've got to come together. We got to be able to unite. That's the only way. Nobody's going to save us.
Right.
Nobody
You're
is
right about
coming to
that.
our rescue.
Except us. So we got to
Right.
come together and do it. That's what I'm on. So
Right.
I'm ready to work with anybody that wants to liberate and make a difference. So thank y'all because my phone's about to is about to die again. I got to let it charge. But thank you guys so much and thank you Abstruce for having me. So y'all check out the website. Um, check out the link as well. And if you got any more questions, you can get with Abstruce because both of us will be keeping you guys update with the story and what's going on and everything like that as far as Kenya's case goes. So
Right.
I'm just really excited. I can't wait to start reporting the details. I just want to make sure I gave everybody an overview, but as far as the details go with following this case, I got to wait till I have, certain documents in my hand and then I can, reveal those things. So
Right.
but this is the main thing as far as what we're dealing with. So by Monday, I'm gonna start working on the lawyer, looking for a lawyer that would be interested in what we're doing and taking it on and stuff. So that's what we're trying to do or whatever with all of this.
All
So
right.
thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
You're
Signing up.
welcome. All right. Have a good
Peace.
night, y'all.
You too.